how's everyone doing? If you're not in a good mood, hopefully this will cheer you up. Here we have our second iteration of the Subtypes quiz. Now this one will follow a different format from the previous one. If you haven't done it, the previous one, be sure to check it out first. That one might be a bit difficult, so this format change should make things a bit more easier for those of you who want a chance at redemption, at proving that you actually know your Netrunner basics. And for those of you who scored very well on the previous Subtypes quiz, well, now's your chance to prove your mastery. There will be 6 questions, as with the previous one. In each question, 5 cards will be presented, 4 of which share a common subtype. One of them is the odd one out. Your job is to identify the odd card out as well as the common subtype shared by the other 4 cards. Here's an example. GS Sherman M3, NFR, or Nerfer, Chameleon, Sage, and Spike. Take a moment to think about it. Pause the video if you need to. It shouldn't take too long, however. It is pretty apparent that the common subtype that they have in common is the Fractal subtype, and the odd one out is none other than the Chameleon that is hiding amongst all these cards, blending in, attempting to, blend in. But nope, the Chameleon does not actually have the Fractal subtype, and curiously enough, it actually doesn't gain the Fractal subtype even if you name Barrier as the subtype to break. Therefore, you cannot break wrap around with a Chameleon by itself. An interesting fun fact for you there. But this is just an example. This is not worth any points. The following 6 questions are part of the quiz and will be worth 5 points each for a total of 30 points, just like last time. Are you ready? Put on your thinking caps and let's go. Question 1. Endless Hunger, David, Agora, Deus Ex, Gingerbread. Pause the video to write down your answers, and once you're ready, unpause the video and we'll move on in 3, 2, 1. Question 2. Spot the Prey, Injection Attack, Early Bird, Political Graffiti, The Noble Path. Moving on in 3, 2, 1. Question 3. Orion, Swordsman, Z 2.0, Enforcer 1.0, Bugs. Question 4. Omni Drive, Muresh Bodysuit, Prepaid Voice Pad, The Personal Touch, Feedback Filter. Question 5. Exchange of Information, Witness Tampering, Cerebrocast, Voter Intimidation, Helium Beta Test. Finally, Question 6. Improved Tracers, Personality Profiles, False Lead, Unorthodox Predictions, Underway Renovation. How was the quiz? Hopefully it wasn't too challenging. I hope you have your answers by now, because we'll be cross-checking the answers. Once we are done, actually, right now you can pause the video and go comment in the comment section on what you think the answers are. We'll review the answers very shortly and we'll see how many points you've scored. Here we go. For question 1, the common subtype is actually Icebreaker. Most of you probably figured that out, and the odd one out is David. This is actually very curious. I'm not sure why they removed the Icebreaker subtype from David, given that it breaks ice subroutines just as all the other ones do. One can make the argument that it doesn't contain strength, and I think that's the main reason why. Unlike all the other Icebreakers, this one does not have any strength, which distinctivizes it. Is that even a word? Distinctivize? Anyway, the other distinct card is Grappling Hook from the Criminal Faction. That is also not an Icebreaker, as it has no base strength. So that's the Icebreaker subtype for you. Question 2 is the Run subtype, and although all of these seem like run events at first, Spot the Prey is actually not a run event. This question is a dead giveaway if you've been watching my pack reviews. I think I brought this up during the pack review for Daedalus Complex. Yep. So yep, Spot the Prey is the odd one out, as it is not a run event. The implications are that it doesn't synergize with Ken Tenma and that you cannot tutor up with Plan Assault. Question 3 is Destroyer. Surprisingly, Orion isn't a Destroyer, even though it has the Trash Program subroutine. Presumably this is because there is limited space in the text box. The same applies for Ichis 1 and 2.0, which are not APs, even though they have the potential to deal brain damage. What's most surprising actually isn't the fact that Orion is the odd one out, it's the fact that Z 2.0 is a destroyer for some reason, even though it doesn't trash programs unlike all the other stuff. It trashes hardware, And there's no corresponding subtype. If you look at Taurus, that does not have the destroyer subtype either. So this is a very curious subtyping inconsistency that we have in the game. Question 4. This one's a very tricky one. Props to you if you got both the subtype and the odd card out. The subtype is gear, and personal touch is not a gear unlike the other 4. It's pretty hard to tell which is gear and which isn't gear. If you have any insight to that, I'll be happy to hear it. Leave it in the comment section. But for now, we'll move on to question 5. This one is Grey Ops. Okay, so this one is really tricky. The Grey Ops subtype actually is a very wide umbrella encompassing a lot of disruptive effects. Exchanges, agendas, witness tampering, clears tags. It doesn't even directly interact with the runner per se. Net damage like neuro EMP, brain damage like cerebral cast, and resource trashing like voter intimidation all fall under Grey Ops. But for some reason or another, the Helion, Alpha, and Beta tests are all Black Ops. I'm not sure why, even though Black Ops is typically reserved for cards that deal meat damage. So that's quite an interesting anomaly there. Finally, question 6, we have the security subtype. For the longest time, subtypes on agendas didn't really matter. The Archivist is the first one that does, and typically when you think of the security subtype, you usually think of agendas that provide some sort of defense effect for the corp, like improved traces, improving your ice strength and traces, or something that disrupts the runner by dealing damage. House of Knives is a very good example of that. Or something that just disrupts the runner in some way. Personality profiles and false lead come under that umbrella. Underway renovation is hence an anomaly in this subtype, because you would think that disrupting the runner's stack by trashing the cards off the top seems like a disruptive effect that would belong to a security subtype, but apparently not. I guess it's because it's a renovation, and as such falls under the initiative subtype as a renovation, just like I believe Hollywood and Oaktown renovation. So yep, that's the quiz overall. How well did you do? Leave your answers and your scores in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. In the meantime, as always, happy net running. Goodbye.